Gentlemen and ladies, this is my submission for Mix War number one. It is a song called Access Denied by the Purple Hat Mob. It is an alternative rock track, and it was definitely a little difficult one because although I think the tracks were recorded mostly nicely, um, if I had to guess, it wasn't recorded on professional level gear, which is fine because guess what? You can enhance that stuff. I had trouble getting the drums to sound good, and they sound fine in the verses, but once the chorus hits, the snare sinks down. And, at this point, if this were a real mix that I was doing for a customer, I would just sample replace. So, what I'm thinking of doing is doing one with sample replace drums versus this official one, but check this out. I made a big mistake. So I have an instrument bus where everything except vocals goes through, and I had put TDR Nova on there to do a little external side chain trick. I ended up tricking myself and putting it in mono, which is the default setting. So I have to rebalance my entire mix, which was already finished. So I'm gonna do that in this screen capture, and then after I'm done doing that, I will play the entire mix one last time. I could do more things, I could do more automation, but pretty much this mix, I'm happy with it. I had to do some mix bus EQing, but bottom line is, uh, you know, mix war is a fun thing. I think that I've already beat the competition, and now it's time for you all to be the judge. Although you can't judge blindly, I hope that you don't take being my subscriber, my viewer, into consideration. Just compare the two mixes. My goal with the mix was to make it so that you could hear the instruments pretty much the entire time. Although the synths are the background noise, as it were. But I made sure the lead guitar popped through when it needed to. Obviously, the vocals are very important, so making sure every lyric comes through. And I want you to take all this stuff into consideration when you make your judgments. With both mixes, what elements can you hear? There's bass guitar, there's drums, there's vocals, there's the lead guitar, there's two rhythm guitars, there's about 12 synthesizers. I only had 3 synth tracks though because I comped them. And so, yeah, so there you go. And again, this is supposed to be a friendly thing. My competition tried to turn it into something that was not so friendly, but I'm going to set all that aside and just say, here you go. Here's my Mix War submission number one. Rebalancing the mix took a lot longer than I thought it would, so I'm going to just include it on the alternative RHR channel. And following what I'm about to say, I'm going to just play a mixed down draft. It's not the final version because I still think that I need to do sample replacement for the drums. There's a variety of reasons. Number one, during the courses, it just, the tone changes, and that doesn't serve itself well. For some reason, there's like gain staging issues. I'm guessing it's the compressor that's screwing up things, and I just didn't mess with it. There could be a little bit more automation, and I have a lot of 3K to 5K buildup, which is causing issues. But all that being said, despite those issues, I still think that this mix is better than my competition. Of course, I'm biased, but again, the goal was to be able to hear all the instruments. I can't say I achieved that all the time, but certainly throughout the. It's kind of cool actually how like the drums get buried, because then when they come back, you're like, oh, so it keeps your ear interest instead of just having everything sounding great all at the same time. But of course, that's just an excuse. I'm gonna try to figure out what I can do about that 3K buildup. I'll try panning things a little bit differently and just do a few more tweaks. But I'm pretty darn happy with this mix, besides the 3K buildup and the lack of drums. Overall, a cool little song that reminds me of like the Killers. If you like that band, it kind of has that vibe. One of the other issues I had, now I don't know if they were recorded this way or they just made the stems this way, but they were actually clipped. The drum overheads were clipped, and if you guys know what I said about proper recording levels in that video, it really screws with your transients. So when you don't have transients, it really harms your ability to cut through the mix. So what I might do is put a transient designer on there. I'm trying to do everything I can before I do sample replacement. But anyway, I've talked enough. Check out the mix. Actually, well, I put some mastering stuff on there too, but basically the volume level is equal to YouTube's max. So here we go.
Now you're big and you can just do anything that you want. Can walk around and lay your eyes on anything that you want. I killed a beast so strong and should like you seem to think that you are. Will that come back to bite you? Can't turn back now. All pride aside, I don't wanna be anything like you. Access denied, we won't let anybody through, 'cause there's enough already in the room. Now I'm big, I can walk all over you. I've seen you smoking cigs and sinking in what's real. All pride aside, don't wanna be anything like you. Access denied, we won't let anybody through. So find something else to do. All pride aside, access denied.